Hello, I'm Camden Walker for the Capital Weather Gang. We've got a warm week ahead with limited rain chances at least until late week. And we'll talk about all the details of hit or miss showers and maybe a storm until late week when rain chances do rise. And the warmth, it is above average for most, if not all, of this week. So enjoy it if you were a warm weather lover, and we'll talk about the pollen situation, which makes spring a little less enjoyable for our allergy sufferers, my fellow allergy sufferers. Dave, thanks for joining. Mary, Alexis, and Jay, and Rose Will Travel, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm on Instagram, X, YouTube, and Facebook, and at cwg.live. I'm live there as well. And we're there 24/7 anytime you need us. Thanks for joining on our weekly Sunday Sunset Chat. We've got the headline at the very top there that I updated our forecast at cwg.live. Right above me here in my hats, we've got the graphical forecast at a glance, and below me, the animation of the warm temperatures for this upcoming week. And again, above average temperatures might prevail the entire week. David, happy Easter. Good evening. And April, happy Easter to you as well. We've got precipitation fairly limited through the early middle part of this week, but I will say we can't rule out near sunrise. This next couple mornings, we might have some showers, sprinkles around. But I think the main early week focus for precipitation might be Monday night with some showers, maybe even a storm. The main rainfall is focused on maybe Friday, Saturday, as it looks now. Still rainfall amounts, the majority of which fall, as it looks now, Friday, Saturday. It's moderate amounts of rain, not too much to write home about. So really, at this point, I wouldn't plan too much, cancel too many plans just quite yet. But any rain we do have in the forecast, even if it's just a half inch for the next 7 days, it is welcome with the drought still persisting. We should see improvements with some data delays in the data ingestion over the last week or so. But it's getting chipped away slowly but surely. We're getting some of this drought chipped away at the region, but it is pretty persistent. Clouds are around in fair numbers this week. Maybe Wednesday, Thursday are our brightest days of the week. And wind is not really a story this week, but I think tomorrow, our windiest day of the week, potentially, with some gusts maybe around 25 miles per hour at times. And then hopefully we can put the breezes behind us for several days for the rest of this week. And humidity, not really an issue this week. I think maybe we could get moist, a hint of humidity at times, especially Monday night with our kind of greatest chance for rain in the early part of the week being Monday night. We might see a little tinge of humidity after the warm front moves through and before the cold front comes and clears us out again on Tuesday. So prepare for just brief bouts of hints of humidity. And here it is, allergy sufferers, peak pollen may be here. We have over 2,000 on our pollen count, and that in the past has been some of our peak amounts for pollen in the past there. The very bottom there, the peak readings from years past from 1998 to 2024. So look forward to that. We could be at the peak, fellow allergy sufferers. So hopefully we can relax a little bit in the coming week or two as we are approaching the typical peak for pollen season, for tree pollen. And grasses will take over soon enough, it looks like. But let's focus on the good news that we might be past the worst, or nearing the peak for tree pollen in the area. And looking ahead really quick at temperatures next work week, they are above average, probably above average. And precipitation, no clear signal whether below or above average for next work week. All right, let's reanimate the warm above average temperatures while I take for this upcoming week, while I take some questions from our social media channels on Facebook, X, YouTube, and Facebook. Diana, Thoroughly, thanks for joining in. Claire and Jim and Duchess and Kenny wants some rain. I feel you. I think you're in West Virginia, Kenny. Hopefully, we can get you some water to come down there for you. And the more decent chances than closer to DC this week, it looks like, as you saw from our 7 day rainfall forecast from the Weather Prediction Center. Jim, Jordan's, Wilda, thanks for tuning in. Amy, humidity is a little bit subjective. Coming out of winter, indeed, these dew points don't feel horrible at all. And if we're talking about 60-degree dew points in August, September, wow, it's a nice dry day. But coming out of winter, 60 degrees we're not used to it, we're not acclimated to it. It can feel a little more humid in April than August. That I agree. Our body does have some subjectivity depending on what recent weather has been or the season we're coming out of or going into. Yes, yes, indeed, Amy. Very good point. Let's see, Mike, planting your tomatoes. I will remind you we had a kind of sneaky frost in parts of the region last week, and April still can throw some frost freeze surprises at us, especially in the brightest yellows in our region. So do maybe consider having your tomatoes in a pot or other sensitive vegetation. Keep those in pots that you can bring inside at least till the end of the month. That's kind of my recommendation. But I think if you're in the red zone here, that's the earliest typical last frost and freezes, and that held true during this last frost advisory. We didn't have that red zone in the lowlands of the tidal Potomac in the frost advisory. That may indeed be safely past last frost or freeze. All right, let's put up the precipitation animation just to show you that it's focused on the end of the week. We do have slight rain chances, mainly I think focused on Monday night, where we could see some showers and storms. But you'll see details in our CWG.live forecast. We do have a couple stray sprinkles, showers, maybe a thunderstorm sprinkled throughout the early part of the week, but we should be dry, I think, on Wednesday and Thursday, and our brightest sunniest days of the week as well. Before kind of the main rain chances of the week are focusing on Friday and Saturday as it looks now. Ruth and Lisa, happy Easter. Good to see you. And Charlene, yes, we had some strong storms we wrote about at CWG.live there along the Mason-Dixon line last night. They were severe and not good. I agree with you. Let's see, we've got Paul looking at maybe if you can do some mulching in the rain this upcoming Saturday. I don't think it'll be a heavy rain as it looks now. Hopefully you can kind of keep that in the back of your mind. It could be a little bit moist. Diana, good evening. Indeed, you had some of those storms last night. We wrote about that. Make sure you check out our coverage at twg.live. I don't think we're keeping that behind the paywall. We're very much reporting on those strong storms last night along the Mason-Dixon line. All right, we've got Ruth Elisa. Frost advisory was behind us. We're talking about nothing this upcoming week. It looks like we don't have any frost or freezes this upcoming week. Ruth Elisa and Deidre, good to see you. Thanks for tuning in on Facebook. And Alyan and Little and MHO and Lisa and Beth and Liz, thanks for tuning in, among others. And Skywalker Beth. Let's see. I'm not sure I understand the weather prediction. If you have to be outside this week, I think the best days are Wednesday, Thursday for this week. So good to see you on Instagram. Pewee fan says it was perfect Easter weather today. I'm very glad you enjoy the holiday with good weather. And indeed, Liz, good to see you, and YB, and we've got Ali as well. All right, thank you very much for tuning in. I'm Camden Walker for the Capital Weather Gang. This is our weekly Sunday Sunset Live Q&A. We do it every week for 20 minutes. I'm glad to chat with you all on the blog at cwg.live and on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and X. We're looking at the precipitation chances. This animation below me kind of showing the main focus on Friday, Saturday this upcoming week, but we could see some early week showers, maybe a storm, particularly focused on nighttime hours Monday night, it looks like. Latest headline in the forecast from CWG.live is the very top. Graphical forecast at a glance directly above my hat here. And again, precipitation mainly focused on Friday, Saturday this week, but Monday night has a decent early week chance for some showers and a storm maybe as well. Doesn't accumulate too much over the next 7 days. Maybe a half inch in many spots. I mean, we'll take it, right? And Kenny, I think tuning in from Instagram, we were talking about you in West Virginia have a little bit better chance potentially of seeing some rain this week, adding up to a bit more. And we'll take it with drought still being stubborn in parts of the region, but I think we will continue to see this chiseled away as we have in the recent week or last week or two. And then clouds this week are hanging around. Wednesday, Thursday look like our brightest, sunniest days, so keep that in mind. If you need to get outdoors for some plans and require some sun, Wednesday, Thursday looks best, and probably both days are dry. Wind, not a headline this week, but the breezy stay tomorrow, Monday. We can maybe put it behind us pretty early in the week, but we could see some wind gusts, 25 miles per hour or so. Steve, happy Easter there in Culpeper. Good to see you. More rain and seasonable temperatures would be a nice order. I would agree with that. Kara, hello on Facebook. Good to see you. Aaron, yep, we have some little fires around that are adding to some haze there in Fairfax. And Ruth Lisa, good to see you. And Amy, they're the allergies. We'll talk about those in just a second. But Amy, I hope all goes well with the trampoline as well. Deidre, good to see you. And Scott, I don't. I think maybe one strong storm tomorrow around DC at most, but I don't see that happening. And then Sandy, Southern Maryland could use some rain as well. We have been looking at the droughts. Indeed, you guys are in the D1 drought. It's a slight drought, but a drought nonetheless. We will send some rain your way, and hopefully over the next 7 days we can get you at least a third of an inch or so over the next 7 days in this map for rain accumulation. The Esther, Match, Bucky, Carrie, Savashia, Jack, good to see you, and Diane. Thank you very much. Excellent. Well, let's move on with, let's see, we've got the dew points this week are generally behaving, maybe a hint of humidity, near 60 degrees at times, especially Monday night. Might be near 60. So I think, as we were talking about, a little subjective. Our bodies are not acclimated to this. So if we see 60-degree dew points in August, it's going to feel like a very nice, refreshing, dry day. But in April, coming out of winter, not so much. We're not used to seeing this much moisture, feeling it in the air quite this much. Now, pollen, good news and bad news. So, the bad news is, fellow allergy sufferers, and I'm hoping you can't tell my allergies are terrible today with many of you, I'm sure. We've got pollen counts around 2,000. And that's the bad news, right? So very high. We've had very high readings on Saturday and Sunday this week. The Army allergen folks have taken 2 readings this weekend, kind of thinking that it is near the peak. And that's the good news. We are maybe near peak of the tree pollen season. So very soon we can probably put the worst of our tree pollen allergies behind us. And then I'll tuck in some other bad news though. The grass pollen is trying to come in from behind, as it typically does, getting closer to May. We'll watch the grass pollen starting to take over as well once the trees start subsiding a little bit. And here's another graph showing you some pollen counts in recent years are often near the 2,000 mark when there are peaks of the tree pollen season. So that's good news. Fingers crossed. We might here. Can I do some fireworks? We'll see. We might be near the peak of tree pollen season. All right, so that is some good news. And looking ahead at next week, we should see above average temperatures. A good lean, probably above average temperatures next week, and neither a lean below average or above average for precipitation next week. So unfortunately, no clear signal there. I would love to report an above average signal for precipitation next week because, of course, we do indeed have this stubborn drought still in the region, but I think we'll continue to see improvements. I think these modest rain amounts over the next 7 days, so a third, half, maybe 3/4 of an inch in the wettest parts of the region, definitely welcome, and they will help us in the coming week or two. But we will get there slowly but surely, and we need more weeks with like 3/4 of an inch, if not an inch of rain, to really do better at chipping away at this drought. All right. Temperatures animated below this week, just to emphasize it's going to be a warm week, above average temperatures. I'm Camden Walker for the Capital Weather Gang. Anytime you need us, we're at cwg.live. This is our weekly Sunday Sunset Live Q&A chat, 20-minute chat with you every Sunday. Happy Easter to those who celebrate. I think happy Passover as well. And we've got, I think it's going to be a warm week with limited rain chances, and that's great for some outdoor plans overall. Though Monday night we could see some showers, maybe a couple storms, and then the main focus of the rain this week is Friday and Saturday as it looks now. And Sarah, thanks for joining, Sarkub, and we've got Hassan and KT Faro and Larson and Peggy. Thanks for tuning in on Instagram. And MM Dorothy, good to see you as well. And I think I've caught up on all the questions on this area. Excellent. And we've got Mike. Thanks for tuning in. Uh, let's see. Did you have an ice storm in Michigan while you were there, Mike? Let me know. And Eric, let's see. Above average temperature forecast. We do need more rain. Yes. So I wish I could give you above average temperatures and above average precipitation. I agree. I agree with that idea theoretically. And David, yep, I've got some mint tea on hand for the peak allergy season, which hopefully we're putting the peak tree pollen behind us. Fingers crossed, right? I mean, that is the good news. The tree pollen has been very high both Saturday and Sunday readings this weekend, but we'll talk about that in a moment. I really can't wait to put tree pollen behind us a little bit in the rearview mirror. Catherine, you're most welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Ruth Lisa, I agree. And Mike, I think air quality will stay yellow at worst this week. I've seen a lot of hotspots in the southeastern United States, but the good news is it's a very limited southwesterly fetch that because most of the hotspots and fires are southwest of DC. I don't see many southwesterly winds except maybe Monday night we could smell a little bit of smoke in the air again if we draw in some of the hot spots that are smoking in the southeastern United States. So hopefully we can keep it at a yellow air quality. That's what I'm seeing so far projected, and I kind of agree with that. All right, we've got Ruth Elisa, you're most welcome. And Mike, I need to check on that. We need to check on that indeed. Thank you. I hope all your travels are going okay. And Paul, yes, I am on the Wednesday WAMU. I covered for this past Monday morning, but you'll hear me every Wednesday afternoon on your drive home on WAMU. And Tyler, appreciate seeing you on Facebook. You're most welcome, of course. All right, let's see. I've got a question on Instagram from Mauer. Longest droughts in DC. We're not approaching those just yet. We have definitely seen 9 month droughts, I think, longer, worse, more extreme than this one. Let's pull up the latest one, which we are chipping away at. I mean, that is the good news. We're seeing slight improvements at the edges. It's retreating a little bit. But this one, we did have a break. That's what's interesting. We did have a break, I think, early last fall. But the rainfall deficits are still, for several counties, I think in the 6 to 10 inch range for some of the worst areas. So you're not completely wrong. The impression is there because we haven't had growing season. We haven't been feeling the impacts as much, but there was a brief break. And I think to your point, Mauer, we need to, as we're going into growing season now, getting slowly past our final frost and freezes in the region as we get toward the end of April into May. I think we will be following the drought more and, of course, require more rain every week to keep up with evapotranspiration needs of agriculture as well. Megan, good to see you. Barbara, Nadreen, and KT, and Steph, good to see you very much. Ruth Lisa, thank you so much. And Charlene, seeds are in the ground, and I hope for your sake we do stay above 50 degrees for low temperatures. Let's review really quick in the DC area. The last frost and freeze, like median, the average final is in March in that one red spot, late March in the Potomac lowlands. But I want to emphasize the brightest red, excuse me, the brightest yellows here are still until the end of April. We could still see an average last date for frost or freeze. And even that, we've seen in the IA1 corridor 3 of the last 5 years, I think, a Mother's Day frost or freeze. So keep that in mind and keep those sensitive vegetables and items like in pots, and maybe you can bring them inside. But I'm glad, Charlene, you have your seeds in the ground, and I do hope indeed keeping the soil temperatures at or above 50 degrees would be exactly right. We really want that. All right. All right, V Woods. I think we are seeing warm temperatures for the foreseeable future. A sneaky frost could happen in the higher elevations of the region. We could have a quick front move through with drier air. And that's one reason we look at climatology, just to remember that we have seen some, even early mid-May frost and freezes at the very highest elevations of the region. But let's look ahead really quick. We see right above me this upcoming week is above average temperatures, if not almost the entire time of the week. And next week is probably above average as well. So I see very low chances, I won't say zero chances, for a sneaky frost or freeze, especially if you're at a higher elevation. You're a little more, at risk for those. If a quick front with a quick pouch of dry air, colder air comes through for even just 6 hours, it can happen on a dime. You can get a frost even at 36 degrees, as we all know, gardeners, farmers. Precipitation for next work week is not clear either way, so there's no clear signal if it's going to be above average or below average. All right, I'm about out of time here. I really enjoyed seeing all of you for this weekly Sunday Sunset Live Q&A chat. I'm Camden Walker. We're at cwg.live anytime you need us. Warm temperatures animated below all week. It's looking like it's going to stay above average most, if not all, of this week. And as we saw, indications are above average temperatures probably go into next week as well. And I want everyone to enjoy the warm weather. Realize precipitation might move in. The main part of Friday and Saturday is the main precipitation chance for this week. We're going to watch Monday night with showers, maybe a couple storms. Worth keeping an eye on that. But that's our early week rain chance. So far, does not look like it wants to amount to too much. And rains overall over the next 7 days are fairly modest. All right. I will see you all next Sunday. I appreciate it. It's been a great 20 minutes with you on Facebook, X, YouTube, and Instagram. And anytime you need us, we're at cwg.live. Happy Easter and have a very good week. I'll see you hopefully with fewer allergies as we are hopefully past peak tree pollen, which I will show you that they did some special readings this weekend. We have had very high readings the last couple days. But the good news is, despite our near term pain, we might be at or passing the peak of tree pollen season. So fingers crossed, allergy sufferers will be lower from the pollen count next week, hopefully. I'll see you then.